I'm actually vacationing in the Adirondack Mountains, and I want to do a video today to talk to you very briefly about the importance of standing in your own power, your own truth, speaking up for yourself, having a voice. Okay? Even though I'm on vacation, I've had a bit of work to do, and I was doing some work with a group and noticing that over the years, as I've witnessed this group, it's amazing how many are not able to really speak up and say what they need. Now, there are a lot of strong personalities. We all run into strong personalities where we feel like we're not allowed to say what we need. We're not allowed to speak up for what we want. We're not allowed to express our needs because it's not the same as what everybody else does, or the same as what is normal, or the conventional methods or structures or whatever it is. And I'm here to say to you that, first of all, and I've been there, I've been in these groups that are led by gurus. I've done other videos on, a true priestess path, patriarchal dominance culture, and things like that speak to this. But any kind of group or organization that is this top-down model of the guru is perpetuating patriarchal dominance culture by its nature, right? And that doesn't mean there aren't amazing teachers and so-called gurus that are out there that have something to offer us. But when the model is that we can't do anything unless the guru says it's appropriate, or the leader says it's okay, what happens is you get a whole group of people that are unable to feel confident speaking up. And what happens then is that you have this long, slow process of feeling like you're dying inside, feeling like you cannot be yourself, and especially feeling like you cannot be free. This is some of what has come up in some of these conversations, is the idea that, well, if I can't be free, I'm just going to move on and do things my own way and do whatever feels right to me. And maybe moving on is fine. That I'm not saying that. I've done that myself in situations, because sometimes there are situations where you simply cannot express or be yourself and have it be considered acceptable, because the model is set up as a top-down model that wants people to remain small. That's what's needed. On many levels, if you look at the global stage, this is exactly what we see, is that as long as everyone is conforming, as long as everything seems in line and normal and expected, and what most people are doing, what the majority are doing, then we're good. But if you have those who are rocking the boat, upsetting the apple cart, doing things a little differently, challenging and asking lots of questions, then it's considered a problem. All right. Now, this is so toxic to our society, because when we have these top-down models, when we have these ideas of strictly being all about telling people how things need to be done, as opposed to offering guidance or tools or ways of coping and strengthening and that kind of thing. If we're saying this is what needs to be done and this is how to do it, we are controlling people. We are trying to tell them how to be, who to be, what to be, and we have to stop that. We cannot evolve as a society if we continue to have this idea that people are supposed to conform, they're supposed to all be the same. And we really need to be looking at that piece. One of the biggest things is we ourselves as individuals have got to find the strength within us to pose the questions, to challenge the status quo, to say, you know what, I'm not comfortable with this. I have other ideas. I have other ways that I'd like to see or do things. And if those questions are not honored, if those thoughts are not considered or open to, then yeah, we probably need to move on to a place where we can be truly free, where we can feel that we are heard and seen. Everyone wants to feel heard and seen. Everyone is a leader in the moment it's their time to be a leader, right? Everyone has something to offer. You can do something that I can't do, and I can do things you can't do. and every other person can do things we can't do, right? And so when their gifts are needed in that moment, they are the leader. They are someone we can turn to and we can follow. But when we think there's only one leader, one guru, one person to follow, one person who has the say-so, and that's all we're following, we lose the ability to be strong within ourselves. And that kind of situation thrives on people being small, staying small. Okay? And this is something that is just, to me, this is such a key aspect of the feminine rising in today's world, because the feminine questions. The feminine is willing to venture into the unknown. The feminine is willing to give up some of the structures and dictates and control and processes in order to go with the flow, in order to allow for the unknown, even allow for a bit of chaos. The key is, do we have tools to work with it? You know, that's what this channel is so much about, is offering various tools, various ways that you can become stronger within yourself, really knowing who you are, feeling the confidence to be who you are. And you know, everybody goes through that process of feeling like they're dying inside. And a lot of times we seek to cling to something, whether it's a religion or a guru-led group or some kind of, you know, organized philosophy or whatever it is. The danger in that is that we can then start losing ourselves to that organized religion or philosophy. We can start thinking there's only one way of doing things. And then we start into this space of extremism. We start into this space of clinging to what is known rather than allowing ourselves to be okay with what is unknown. So that's all I really wanted to say today, was to offer this thought that, yes, go out there and find things to learn. Go out there and look for things that light you up, that help you feel maybe a little bit more like you have the ground beneath your feet. Maybe it's a community of people that resonate with you in terms of what you believe and what you care about and what you feel and what you're noticing. But don't lose yourself to that. Don't lose yourself to that space. Always be willing to ask questions. And if you're not allowed to ask questions, if you feel that asking questions or doing things differently is completely unacceptable, that's not a place for you. That's not a place to feel free. It's not a place to feel confident. It's not a place to grow and evolve as a person. The other quick thing I want to share too is that we also have to understand there are all different types of people. You know, there are different temperaments, as I call it. And I'm not going to get into all the temperaments. Maybe I'll do another video on that if somebody's interested in that. But, you know, you have your kind of natural leaders, these ones that are really, you know, ready to press forward and guide everything, and they kind of want things a certain way. Maybe there's even perfectionistic tendencies, and this, I know I tend to be that way. You know, I feel like I'm always stepping into a leadership role. I do have perfectionistic tendencies where I want everything to be a certain way and have things structured in a certain way. But here's the thing, I am so open to learning. Learning is one of my top strengths. I love the Clifton Strengths Finder as a resource. And when you are a learner, it means you're always open to things. Even if you are a person who, you know, likes things a certain way and likes to have things, you know, structured a certain way. So just because a person is that way and is perfectionistic or likes things a certain way doesn't mean they're not open to other ideas. They might be a little bit more resistant because there's an aspect of kind of keeping a certain known aspect to the way things are, right? But trust yourself enough to speak up and say what you need. Speak for what you want. Express what you want. And I've done other videos on the idea of how many of us don't even know what we want. So when you start to get clear on what you want, you'll be able to present the questions, offer ideas, express the possibility of doing things differently. These are all the ways in which we can become more of who we are and ensure that we are remaining free, asking questions, opening yourself up to different ideas, you know, both sides of the coin. If you tend to be a person who's a bit rigid, notice that in yourself. Notice when you're being a little bit rigid or things seem to have to be done a certain way. There's always multiple ways to do things, and there's always multiple people to do them, right? So I hope that's helpful and very informal, very kind of spur of the moment. And I'd love to hear your questions in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, be sure to subscribe. It helps the channel. It helps others become aware of it. And maybe you're in a situation like this where, you know, you sort of feel like wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you're not able to do what you want or be who you really are or be who you feel you're meant to be. Let me know in the comments, share in the comments an example of that. I'd be happy to share thoughts about how to present that. But I will say the first thing I'll tell anybody is, have you made a request? Have you talked to the person? Have you had a conversation? And there are powerful ways of doing that that are more effective than others. And we can do a whole video on communication at some point as well. But the key is to recognize what's going on for you and how you're showing up, and begin to shift that to ensure that you're staying free and you're staying empowered. All right, until next time.